Doritos Tangy Golden Sriracha Chips. A bold, sweet, and tangy twist on classic Sriracha. These chips are new in Canada. They've been in the US for a little while from my understanding, but as soon as they hit the shelves here in Canada, I just had to try them. Before we get into the review, let's have a quick look at the nutritional info and the ingredients. Let's get into it, starting with
taste and seasoning.
These chips hit. The second they hit your mouth, there's a lot going on. Right away you get the sweetness, then you get a bit of salt, and finally that spice rolls in with a bit of a delay. None of it's overpowering, but it's definitely all noticeable. The garlic stands out too, and not in a bad way. It's actually a nice layer that adds depth without taking over. And the Sriracha seasoning is spot on. It gives that recognizable tangy chili flavor without going too far into artificial territory. What I really like about it is there's so many flavors happening at once. It's hard to lock down exactly what I'm tasting in each bite. And that's a good thing. It keeps me guessing. It keeps things interesting. Overall, they taste really good. I'll give them a solid 4 out of 5.
Smell and aroma.
These chips smell like what they taste like. Strong, tangy, and packed with that same flavor profile you get when you put them in your mouth. You can smell the sweetness, the spice, and the Sriracha tang. It's like the seasoning jumps out at you. You get a little tingle in your nose, kind of like the heat is letting you know it's there before you take a bite. It's one of those scents that really pulls you in. You know, you catch a whiff and you immediately think, okay, I gotta try these. It smells appetizing. It smells exciting. It doesn't really smell artificial, but it also doesn't smell natural. Really hard to explain there. Overall, though, it creates this sense of anticipation, which you want in any food. Smell and aroma, that gets another solid 4 out of 5.
Texture and crunch.
These chips have that classic Doritos crunch, thick enough to feel sturdy when you bite into them, but light enough so they don't feel too dense or heavy. Each chip has that sharp, satisfying snap when you break into it, and that crunch sticks around for the first bite, right up to the last. The texture is also pretty consistent. It feels good in your mouth. It's not too sharp and not too soft. And you also really notice the seasoning. It's not just the flavor, it's the texture of it. You can feel it on your tongue as soon as you put it into your mouth, which makes the whole experience better. For texture and crunch, it delivers exactly what you'd expect from a Doritos chip, so that's a solid 4 out of 5.
Spiciness.
These chips are meant to be spicy with the Sriracha seasoning, and they do deliver, but in a really nice way. The spice doesn't hit you right away. It takes a few seconds to build, and then you feel it kick in. It's sort of a delayed burn, but it's done just right. It's not the kind of spice that has you reaching for water after every bite, but it is definitely noticeable. Enough to make you go, okay, yeah, it's got some heat, but it's not enough to ruin the experience. I won't be doing the Ruby test on these, as these aren't appropriate to feed to your dog, because they do have that punch, but Doritos really did nail the balance here. On the spicy scale, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. The amount of heat is perfect.
Freshness.
As far as freshness goes, these chips taste really fresh, no question about it. There's no staleness, no weird lingering oiliness, none of that bland flavor that you sometimes get when a bag's been sitting around for too long. Every chip has a solid crunch and a clean finish, which makes a big difference, especially with a bold flavor like this. And that slight zip of spice at the end really adds to that freshness. There are no soggy bits, no stale pockets. It's just crisp, flavorful chips from start to finish. It's easily a 5 out of 5 on freshness.
Value.
This 69-gram bag costs $2.39 plus tax, and that's pretty standard where I live. I'll always likely have a problem with small bags of chips costing over $2. I just feel like I'm paying too much for too little. That said, the flavor's solid. I definitely enjoyed them. It's not like I felt ripped off or disappointed or anything, but I also can't say that I got a great deal. I'm getting a satisfying snack, but not a lot of it. If these were part of a 2 for $4 or a 3 for $5 deal, yeah, I might say value's great. And although I didn't feel like I threw away my money, it's hard to call this a good value, so I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Value could be better.
Packaging and branding.
They did a good job on the packaging. It's very elaborate, has some eye-catching designs. It's a little bit shiny, so it catches your attention and it stands out on the shelf. Of course, it has the classic Doritos logo front and center, but what really stands out are the extra details. It's got a subtle flame on the chip that hints that it might be a little spicy. I really like the little triangle in the top right corner that says the limited time. You know, that alone makes me want to grab the bag. I don't think it's over-designed. There's just enough to make it feel like it's a special release, and it tells a story without being cluttered. Really like this packaging. I'm going to give it a strong 4.5 out of 5.
Uniqueness.
There are plenty of other spicy chips out there, from jalapeno to hot chili and everything in between, but these ones kind of stand out on their own. They're not just spicy for the sake of being spicy. There's a layered flavor profile that sets them apart. Yeah, you've got the heat, but there's also garlic, sweetness, a bit of tang, that distinct Sriracha kick, and even a little bit of chili and vinegar. A salty edge and a little bit of smokiness. Suddenly you've got something that doesn't taste like any other chip out there. Most spicy chips hit you with the heat and maybe one supporting flavor, but these come across like they were designed with complexity. It's the kind of chip that makes you stop mid-bite to figure out what you're tasting, and that's rare, so uniqueness is a 5 out of 5.
Final rating.
Overall, these chips are solid, better than most bags of chips that bring something different to the table. What really stood out to me was the balance of spice and that unique flavor combo. It's not something you get in most chips. They got a nice kick, they're layered, and it keeps things interesting. I'd probably buy them again, and they're worth a try in my opinion. 4 out of 5. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.